Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John's Reports for the 22nd of April. We're back from the break for the Good Friday, Passover holiday, Easter, and we're still within the same configuration that we have been, but we can see from a daily standpoint, still shorts unable to really do much of anything. And that isn't stopped. Decent ranges from developing. I'm we're -8 off of the move already. It just is an indication that we're likely to see supports hold. We've been making at the same highs here. We started a lower shakeout run. Some of that coming off the holidays, a little deceiving, but as we get in towards the end of the month, we might see a bit of a spike in volatility as we prepare for the beginning of a new month, as well as a little bit of earnings setups going forward. NASDAQ, though, looks much stronger. Did have its positive extreme take place right here. It was already filled back pretty much immediately, so it wasn't too big a factor. And the euro, having made a tiny little bounce off of what was the best build that they had seen in a while, we knew it wasn't going to do much but come to the 50%, and then 50 came down right to it. And boom, that's exactly what stopped it. And supporting right here on the 23, which is not bad because you're looking at the extreme, hasn't dipped below the red line. The question is, will it make a higher pivot here going forward? We haven't seen a turnaround yet from it as it is now, so it's still in what we would look at as continuation mode. So that weakness is going to put a little pressure on the S&P. And gold here, of course, we knew this was going to come retrace those lows, still there and below the red line, which means it may have problems even doing anything else. There's nothing here that indicates that you're going to see some kind of pop at this particular time. So return to what we had from our 5K. So we had the beautiful day on Thursday with the clean signals coming through, then the short, then the new clean signals, and actually multiples on this one, which was nice because you ended up starting here and you ended up with the above 50% that led to the peak highs there. And as we ended up into the holiday, we ended up with what I like, these short snakes that happen. They're not always complete. And so it's a little early at times, which is why we usually wait until the beginning of the next one, which at the start of this bar was like a complete DOC spread. But whenever I see that red right at that 0 point and that significant orange cross with the steel coming below and also crossing below cyan, I tend to give those more credence, particularly if I can get anywhere in between that 76 and 100%, because that's usually where it takes place. And ideally, sometimes you even end up with an ABM yellow up here as well that can provide additional assistance on that, because usually the range gap here is pretty decent. In this case, 4 points, not huge. Others, it's much broader. But gives a great risk to reward because you're not expecting much of a new high, if anything, so you can keep it pretty tight along there, and you're looking for at least either some positive extreme. In this case, we knew we had it all the way back down to, well, at that time 50% was just coming up to it at the 07 range, and this case it just blew right past that, so perfect. And again, right back to that 2905, and that's going to become that pivot range again. So we'll be looking at that one intraday as it takes place. So that's a quick synopsis because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with the holiday. I think that as we look at the daily, until we see something change, go back to it, you are in just continuation bull mode at this particular point. So nothing to be terrified about at this particular point. We're in a second wave in the gold. Something to note on that one again is that if we don't see the Azure rise and then starts to roll over, that would be a clear sign that we're going to get weakness, because that would indicate that there's been some bigger selling hiding underneath the underlying, and we'll keep an eye on that. Well, I'll look for it, so I'll mention it if I see it so that you can pay attention to it. As always, though, trade well, and look for me on the Skype chat. Talk to you later.